Hello, Facebook world. Hello, it is Stephanie Hope Dodd, and I'm here with you today. I want to publicly celebrate with all of you beautiful people out there. It has been one whole year since I launched my book, Good Baby, Bad Sleeper, that went to #1 in like 7 different countries. Who knew? I had no idea that going international was like even a possibility. So it was really exciting. And thank you. So many of you either came to this page because of that work or were my people supporting me all along the way. And so I am just going to be like, that dream that I had for, gosh, so I wrote that book when I was 35. I've known since I was 20 I was going to write a book. 15 years to make that dream a reality, and yet it came true. So whatever your dreams, keep on going. Just keep on going. I am grateful, right? This thing about celebrating our successes, our joys, our wins. I don't even care if it's like, oh my gosh, my family had a really good day. Right? Like everyone was just kind of even keel, things flowed well. Sometimes we forget to celebrate those moments. Like really take it in and celebrate it and like shout it. Like, I had a good day. Do a dance in your kitchen. I think we forget because it's like, oh, well, if I had a good day and somebody else didn't, then I'm kind of, I don't want to make others feel bad. What else is it? Why else don't we celebrate? Tell me in the comments, whether you're watching live or as a replay. Like, what keeps you really from wanting to celebrate your wins? I think so often we don't. And we need to. If we want more, we got to celebrate more. So, it inspires those that need to be inspired. That's it. Like, share your joy. Please, I want to see your joy. I want to see your joy. So tag me. If you're like, I want to share something, but I don't know how others are going to get it, but I really want to share this like big win, tag me. I will send you love. Big, massive love. So thank you. Thanks for the space to just be like, I did it. I did it. But here's some of the other stuff that's like behind the scenes of the, right? All of that stuff that maybe sometimes we don't even put on Facebook either. The stuff that like, nope, I'm not sharing my joys, and I'm also not sharing my like lows. We're gonna go right there. Like, there were some lows of writing that book. There were some big, major lessons. Some of those are sacred. Like, some of those will probably never be out in public view. Most of them though, I'm an open book. So if you have questions about like process of writing a book, of stepping out, of how to like just share your truth, feel free to ask them. I will answer them. Anything you want to know. Here's the thing though. So that book came out. It was written in a way to not only help families, but to also really like attract families who are called to work with me, which is a really powerful tool. But then what happened is people wanted to work with me. And so I actually had to run a business. I had to run a business from this book that I wanted to write. I just wanted to write a book, guys. That's really, like, I just wanted to fulfill that 20-year-old's dream. So then I got into this whole thing of being called to really step up and serve, right? These families. And also start charging my worth. Big thing. Like, I was no longer being paid like nail salon money, right? Like, we're talking car payment kind of money, and that's a lot of pressure. And it's also a lot of pressure to do it in a way that feels good. That like not just served the families that I was serving, but actually served myself. And I'm gonna tell you, that's where I got lost. I got really, really lost in this whole thing of wanting to show up for others and being so tied to that win that I forgot to check in with myself along the way. I forgot to ask myself questions of like, does this actually feel good? Is this the way I want to run a business? All of these things, right? And I think as moms and as dads, sometimes we forget to check in with ourselves for the very same reason, because we are here as parents to serve our children, right? And so we forget to check in and be like, does this feel good to me? Is this what's working for our family, right? Those yes or no questions that many of us, not all of us, many of us can go within and get that like, yeah, this does feel good, or And so what happened is I kept getting all these right? But I was like, I'm a businesswoman now. Let's do this. I don't care if it doesn't feel good. Like, I'm going to run this business because I wrote this book and this is just the way it's going to be. And so what happened is I was worn the out. I was like, donezo. I had nothing left to give. That's not true. I had more to give. I had reserves. I was digging into my reserves, right? I kept giving and giving and giving. And so in January, I said to my husband, if this doesn't feel good in March, I'm not going to do it anymore. And January came around and it still didn't feel good. But then what happens, because the universe is going to test you, right? When you actually do start listening, the universe is going to sometimes be like, here's a little test. Let's see what you do with it. And so I got called by someone pretty well known, like someone who it was like big on ego filling to work with. And so what did I do? Did I keep listening within, or did I work with her? You sure as hell bet I worked with her. And right, so that's what we do. It's like, oh, this isn't really working for the family, but my kids want it, so I'm going to keep on doing it. And what happened is I kept, like, eventually my reserves, there weren't even reserves to go to anymore. And so thankfully, all of these voices that happen like up here, you know, the voices that are happening before it kind of drops into your head, I started listening. I started being like, right? So these are the spaces where we can start listening to our intuition, to our guides, to our angels, whatever you want to call them, to the divine, to God, to your connection. And what happens is we often hear these voices, but then when they drop into our head, one of two things happen. We either drop them into the left side where we try and process them logically, or we allow them to flow into the right side, which is like the intuitive brain side. And so something happened. I think I had no more reserves to push it into logical side anymore. And they had to just start flowing into this intuitive side. And everything was like, it's not the work, it's the way that you're working, right? Sometimes, always, it's not the parent. Sometimes it's just the way that things are set up when things are really like, oh, it's not really working. But I know I'm a good parent, right? Just like I knew I was a good sleep coach. It just, the way I had it set up wasn't working for me. And so the biggest lesson that I learned, what's the biggest one? Oh, I have a lot of them, was to do it in a way that was conscious and true to me and to my family. It actually didn't matter what the other authors were doing in their business. It actually didn't matter who my friends are who are stepping out and being successful, how their businesses were structured. It certainly didn't matter what my business coach was telling me. I actually had one that was so brilliant and so on fire and so inspiring, but it didn't feel like it was in alignment with who I was and where I wanted to go. And so this person that I loved, I had to cut ties with. I'd say, like, this can't be our relationship because it's not actually filling my soul. And when my soul wasn't being filled and I was giving, so these families that I was serving, you can sure as heck know that it was impacting the family life, right? The family that we had built here and everything that we wanted for them. And so I had to start listening to all of those voices out here. I had to start allowing them to like actually bypass through here and go right to my heart. And start making decisions from that heart center. And even start allowing some of that information to travel down further to the space, like second chakra area, below the gut, and just start checking in like, is this feeling good? Is this working for my family? Like, quiet all the voices outside. What is going to work? What really had to happen is I had to shut it down. Shut down my entire business, took my website off, turned off my email. I just knew I was being told, if you do this thing that feels so crazy, you will be rewarded. You will have all of the answers that you need, but you need a break. And so listen, guys, I think intuition is really just inspiration being listened to. Intuition is just like hearing the voices and being like, yep, I'm listening. And actually trying to take and doing some of the things that it's telling you. And then you will be rewarded even more. Because then you'll get even more of the right information. You'll start to know what the right information is. I can tell you, taking those like 6 months off, best thing I ever did, because I got to come back in alignment with who I was. I got to close out all of this other chatter going on about what every other business person out there is doing. And I got to do it my way. And you better believe it also shifted my parenting, right? Because these lessons that I'm learning out there from writing this book, from running this business, it's all the same stuff, right? So now I know I'm so practiced and skilled now at checking in with self. Is this working? Am I needing something? Are my children needing something? Do things need to shift? Like all of these yes or no questions. And it really taught me to create space in my life for what it is that I truly want. So this wasn't actually consciously intentional, but what happened exactly 1 year, so today, after publishing Good Baby, Bad Sleeper, and after 7 months of consciously not working with a single sleep client, I started working with my first one. Like the universe, so many signs, but you want to know what? I'm doing it on my terms. I'm doing it on her terms. We're not doing the behavioral stuff. It is full on, right? What's going on in your life, in your marriage, in your home, in your heart. Let's get all of that in alignment. Because when that, like sleep is just a cover up for being out of alignment. Children crying is just a cover up for like things being out of alignment in your home. Anger, do you want to know what I think anger is? Anger is, it's like a cover that goes on when we are not listening to all of these voices. Like when our angels, our guides, our divine source, God, yourself, your intuitive talk is giving you signs, cues, talk. It's like showing you the path of where you go and you're not listening. Right? It's like, all right, I'll just sprinkle a little anger on there for you. Don't ask me why I think that, but I really kind of think that that's where some of this anger stems from. And so the way to start clearing some of that, right? Because let's be honest, I'm not proud, but I yelled at my kids just this morning, right? And the reason I did it is because things kind of got like cluttered in our home, both literally and figuratively. And that's literally and figuratively inside too, right? So this anger was just like, it's just a cover for some of these things that I'm trying to push through a situation right now. And it's like the world being like, you can't push through this situation. You can't figure out the dynamics of this relationship that's causing you stress. Like, yeah. So I think that's where anger stems from. And so I really learned to create space in my life. If I didn't have the space, well, clearly I didn't have the space in my life this week for the situation that came up. And so that's the end result, right? So I've learned over the past year to practice. I'm not perfect, none of us are, but to practice leaving that space for life to happen, right? Because you're going to have things pop up. And so today I just really want to celebrate that wherever I was a year ago, I was doing some rockin' stuff, but I was not fully in alignment with who I am. I'd like to think that I am today, but let's be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but what I am 100% sure of is I'm way more like on my path than I was a year ago. And the way that I know that I'm on my path is that when I wake up in the morning feel good about the day. I know that I'm on my path because when I get on a phone call now with a client, I'm no longer trying to be something. I'm just me. And let me tell you, those calls are way more magical too. I know that I'm in alignment because I can look at my husband in the eyes and I can say to him, like, when this happens, I feel a certain way. And what I'm really wanting is this. Can you and I have a conversation around this? A year ago, I would have tiptoed right around that one. I would have been like, let's just wait a few days until all of that simmers out. Now I'm going for it. I'm getting in there. I'm being honest. I'm being truthful. But that only can happen because I'm really being honest and truthful with myself. And these voices out here that we think are crazy, right? Those voices that we think are crazy, raise your hand. Give me a like if you're like, oh, I get these voices, but I'm not even sure if they're true or not or what to do. That's your intuition. It's your inspiration. So I'm listening to that, and that's how I know. That's how I know that I'm at least more on my path. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up as a mama in this world, whether you are yelling at your kids, right? Because it's a part of parenting. We get tired, we get hungry, our house gets a mess, our kids get out of whack. If you're here, gosh, you are working through that 100%. I trust that. I trust that deeply and strongly. And whether you're in full alignment, thank you. Thank you for doing that work to get on that path and celebrate your joys. Celebrate your joys so that we can all together celebrate that, and it gives us something to keep aiming for. If I wasn't inspired by other people stepping out and hitting their major goals and just watching other women, men, everybody shine in this world, you sure as hell bet I would not have been able to do it myself. And so whatever you're working on, right? Shine it, celebrate it, share it. Tag me if you're like, I don't know if anyone's going to like this or how it's going to make other people feel, because I will do a dance party with you. I will just stand up and do my dance. Thank you so much. Love doing these lives. Loving the commentary that's coming afterwards too. Really loving that. But I'd love to have you on here too. So I'm going to be doing a lot more from my business page. That's Stephanie Hope Dodd. That's how you know my friends page is Stephanie Dodd. My public person page is Stephanie Hope Dodd. Turn on your notifications so that you can join me in these lives, so that you can chat with me, so that I can answer your questions and we can have more fun. All right, everyone. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Sunday, I'm having a put down the phone day. Family day. Conscious connection. Join me if you want to. Join me for an hour even. That shifts so much. All right, guys. Bye.